Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. I have been a huge fan of the CFE events and I've learned a lot from them. So I'm really excited to kind of share what I geek out about. And one of my favorite things to geek out about right now is Discord. And the reason I like it is probably because it's one of those tools that, when used with best practices and intention and purpose, it can be so helpful for you, for others, for the community at large, and it can really be beneficial. But it is also one of those platforms in recent years that has really become hard to use. So I'm active in the chat right now. If you have any questions, concerns, so on and so forth, I would love to kind of hear from you. You'll find at different points during this webinar, we'll have a couple of vibe checks, and we're going to be having a really interactive session. And like Brian said, this will be recorded. And additionally, I've got some resources that I'll be sharing after today's talk. So if you're interested in those, stay tuned. But as we dive in, love to see all of you in the chat. We're going to be talking about Discord for developer communities or technical communities, or AKA how to figure out where that damn beep is coming from and other Discord things. I feel like the number one feedback or the number one thing that I've heard about using Discord is it feels like there's a beep coming from somewhere at all the time, and I don't know what server is turning it on, and I don't know where it's coming from, and this platform is just always yelling at me. And if you relate to that, feel free, drop it in the chat, send me a beep. Let's kind of get going. I want to also get a quick vibe check from anybody here. If you're listening in and you're in the chat on cfe.dev, let me know. We have the CFE Discord, but I'm also curious to know how many of you are familiar with Discord. I know we've got Vinia here in the audience, and she runs a really great Discord on community building and tactics. But if anybody else here is running a Discord or is new, I would love to hear from you at this point and what else we've got. So I'll give a quick moment. We'll have a quick pause and just let you know, doing a quick vibe check, how many of us have used Discord and how many of us feel confident or anything. So just taking that quick vibe check. I'm seeing a lot of I always mute anything. I'm seeing a couple people who are super, familiar with Discord and what's it got. I'm seeing folks that are like, I have no clue on what I'm doing in Discord. Oh, I'm seeing Discord devs. Love to see that. I'm really excited around that one. If you're new, really glad to have you here. Got a couple new to Discord. We were all going to just kind of be honest. A couple lurkers, you're all friendly. You're all welcome here, no matter what level you're at. So really excited to have you here. And again, at any point, there's the common rule. I believe there is no such thing as a stupid question. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But before we kind of dive into things deeper, wanted to kind of let you know a little bit more about myself. So I'm Erin McHale Staples. I am a community explorer. I've been in the technical community space formally and professionally, probably for the past 5 or so years. However, we can say that I've been very online most of my life. Outside of the day job, I am a stand-up comedian. So I do comedy, I do sketch writing, and you can catch me bouncing around Brooklyn telling jokes. And lastly, probably my favorite social platform tends to be Twitter. However, you will catch me probably on Discord more often than not. These days, you can find me more likely to be using Discord than Slack or even Discourse and other forums. So really excited to do that. So a little bit more about myself there. As we kind of get going, I am someone who's very online, grew up in that origins of the internet, like many other millennials. I, as you could say, am raised by the internet. So my early days were spent on MySpace. I was a very Tumblr person. My crushes were all on LiveJournal. I was an original geocaching.com member and really was super active on the Sims 2 custom content forum and really geeked out about making the best Sims mods and hacks and clothing styles much to my parents thinking that I was going to die on the internet. My mother used to always tell me, you're going to get murdered by strangers on the internet when I was growing up. And really didn't like the fact that I was hogging the computer all the time. And that familiar dial-up sound was very too familiar in our household. Even today, she's a little nervous about that. But sorry, Mom. I've managed to make building communities online and making friends online my living. I spend so much time online. That's how I've met a lot of folks. And I'm really enjoying this world that we're building. So for today's adventure, giving you a little roadmap on where we're going to be going. First off, we're going to be diving in. What the heck is going on with Discord? Why is it popular? What's interesting about this? What are going on? We'll then be diving into Discord in practice. So we'll be getting our hands dirty. All of us today are going to be interacting and playing in a Discord, and we will be building a Discord server together. I'm a big believer the best thing to do to learn something is to get your hands dirty and do it yourself. Then we'll be talking a little bit more about the possibilities and potential of this platform and why I'm really excited, especially for those technical and open source communities and where we see those going. We'll also explore a little bit about what's next and what's to come, as well as basic safety and moderation, and then have some question and answers at the end. But at any point during this time period, I want you to reach out, ask me a question, tell me more what you're working on, let me know, raise your hand, I'm here for you. So in order to know about where Discord's at right now, we need to hop in the DeLorean and go back in time. And for that back in time, I'm talking about 2015 to be exact. Discord got its start formally as a company in 2015. But actually, its origins can be traced back to 2011. The concept of Discord came from Jason Citron, and he's been a founder of Discord. Previously, he was the founder of OpenFaint, a social gaming platform for mobile games, and Stanislav Vivensky, I hope I pronounced that right, who had founded Guildwork, who was another social gaming platform. You know, Citron sold OpenFaint to GREE in 2011 for $104 million. Then we started to see this evolution into a game development studio. This later product, Fates Forever, which was a collaborative game released in 2014, was one of the very first platforms to be released on mobile platforms, but did not become quite so commercially successful. Right now, one of the problems with social platforms and social gaming platforms is how hard it is to collaborate with one another. When you're doing social gaming, you want to be able to duck, dip, dive, and dodge. And all of that goes to say is coordinating with your teammates. If you've ever played League of Legends, World of Warcraft, I was a RuneScape nerd. My handle was Fancy Fart. I will out myself right there. I did play World of Warcraft as well and League of Legends. Total geek, fair warning. But it really had a lot of games. And he was like, how are you supposed to collaborate on strategy if, your competitors can hear you? That's not going to work. So what they wanted to do is these founders later developed a voice over IP software, which led to a later chat service focusing on user friendliness without impacting performance. Because if you're playing online, you need those actions and you need that help for everybody. Now, let's think about this. We now think of Discord as a kind of a confusing server and a place to be, and I'll break down why. But for most of the time in these early days, this Discord was largely audio, and it was a way to kind of simultaneously collaborate. I remember playing League of Legends on Discord and having friends on this at time. Now, about the formal name of Discord, I find this is a kind of a fun, quirky fact about it. The name Discord was actually chosen because it sounds cool and it has to do with talking. It was easy to say, it was easy to spell, it was easy to remember, and it was easy to trademark and put a website behind. So bonus points for all of that. They also wanted to solve the problem of creating Discord, aka conversation within the gaming community, creating it really social. Discord was later publicly released in 2015 at discordapp.com. However, they didn't really think that it was going to be a gaming thing at first. We kind of all just thought it was going. And its kind of first takeoff that happened is actually thinking about IRC. So we actually owe IRC and can blame IRC for the rise of Discord. And the reason is this. One of the first places that they really started to see traction is when people were posting in gaming subreddits and replacing the IRC chat in these gaming subreddits with a Discord server. Now, we all got those people who wish that we had IRC back, but I would argue that this actually created another way of more accessible people getting into gaming. Things moved on, time got bigger. We all started to see more gaming communities really double down on the Discord because you could use that audio feature to stream your game, share video, talk more about it, and continue to move forward. In 2018, they had partnerships with Twitch and Xbox Live, so you could make gaming even easier. And this kind of adopted this next product adoption cycle, making it seamless for folks to adopt all of this. Now, we started to progress outside of just gamers and those MMPORG communities, or massive multiplayer role-playing games, and move into this chat for communities and friends push in 2020. In 2019, Discord raised a giant seed round and another giant round of funding. I want to say it was about $20 billion or something like that. It was something really huge, but the intention of this was moving on and that focus on community. Very focused on this whole movement towards just connecting with one another. And what else happened in 2020? Well, I don't feel like I have to tell you these days, but we had the global pandemic hit, and all of a sudden everybody was online and everybody wanted to connect with friends and people in new ways. Fast forward to now, and we've seen so many other companies dive in and use Discord professionally as themselves. So I see Rachel jumping in. We've got a Web3 Loves Discord. We see gaming in Discord. I've thrown up a quick thing here about all the different companies that are using Discord today. And this is just a short snip. I've dropped a link here below, and I'll drop it as well in the chat. If you want to go to bit.ly OSS Discord, you will be able to see all of the different open source Discord, and that's just a great start of all of it. So we've seen companies from Stripe, OpenSauce, Netlify, Figma, Miro, even the very own CFE.dev has a Discord community. One other cool opportunity that we've been seeing is conferences. So I don't know how many else people were geeking out about the Deserted Island DevOps, because I know I was, and I was way about that Deserted Island DevOps. But I'm a fan studies geek. I researched in grad school fandom studies and got to geek out about that. And one of the really cool things is that Fan Studies Network for the past 2 years has done their conference on, Discord, which is really cool. I'm seeing other folks jump in. Cloudflare, Astro, Gatsby are other ones that they're in. If you have another Discord that you really love and belong to, let me know. I run a small Discord of makers that's called Happy Build Hour, and it has a stream that goes with it. And we just build fun, cool things. But my one rule is it has to be fun and lighthearted, and it's only an hour, and it has to be beginner friendly, and they can't be a skill that you learn at your day job. And I found that the nice audio chat is really helpful for learning more. Now, however, we've got some mixed feelings about Discord, and I even saw it pop up in the chat when we very first got started today. Discord hasn't always gotten the best reputation, and we are really struggling sometimes to figure out why Discord hasn't taken off and what hasn't been doing. So I want to drop in a quick little vibe check here. How many people are on the, oh my goodness, love Discord, it's the greatest thing in the world, the best thing ever, or I'm not a fan. Put me back to Slack. Take me back to my IRC. Let's try courier pigeons again, maybe smoke signals, whatever else. I want to know. I kind of want to see what people are thinking here about Discord. So when we get to that vibe check section, I'm going to pause here because we've got a little bit of a lag in the delay. Let me know. What do we think about Discord? Oh, love the Ladies in DevOps Discord. That's a really cool one. I'm a big fan of that one. So thank you, Amy, for dropping that one in. If we have any other Discord fans here, and it's okay, you can drop in. Discord is terrible, and I hate this platform. You're not going to hurt my feelings. We see some people smack dab in the middle. Love the utility, hate the UI. Rachel, we'll go over a little trick today to make that UI very easy. Tony, thanks for the love on the slides. I'm a big goober on this. Now, wherever you are on that kind of spectrum, know that you're not alone. I pulled these just a quick Twitter search. And so this is like, people are like, it's confusing. It's hard. That UI, I know, I feel you. And there's a little trick that I'll teach you later today that has made such a difference in me using Discord. But it's like, I hate it. I don't like it. It's so annoying. And it's not for people who haven't tried. These are all smart, amazing people. However, there's also a lot of optimism here in this area. We have a better pricing model. We have more moderation. There's a lot of safety things that Discord has really done in this space. Moderation is really important. I know that Discord has really taken off for communities that are restrictive or maybe adult communities, which I think is really interesting. So that's all really cool. Wherever you stand on the spectrum, I'm totally support you and will be here for you to kind of encourage whatever decision you like. But hopefully today you'll learn a few tricks to make it just a little bit easier. When we think about Discord, here are some of my big perks to using Discord and why I haven't really been spending that much time on Slack these days. The moderation and safety element is a huge one. I think that's so important. That trust, that safety, even just having that act that you can have to have an email verification or two-factor verification is so important. The pricing model, I even see it coming up in our chat, that 90 days of histories. Yep, that was it. I tried to search something in a community recently and I got frustrated and ran away. Threads, you can actually have bots that force threads in your Discord communities, or that permissions by channel. And we'll go over that again today, or another really great one. Notifications. You can turn notifications on and off by channel in your Discord server, and even why. DMs. This is probably by far my favorite feature of Discord. If you DM someone on, say, let's pretend it's a CFE.dev Slack, and then you try to DM the same exact person, but maybe in a different Slack, and you're in multiple Slacks, and you're like, crap, I don't remember what Slack I messaged them in. Holy cow, where do I find this message? Discord, you're always going to DM me. That's really easy on that. Profile management. If you have multiple profiles or you want to have different profiles, and they've recently made an update that made it easier to go back and forth between them. That's been really great. And lastly, events. So I really like the built-in scheduling events feature and the ability to link either out to an external event or even design an internal event. Again, you'll see this vibe check slide throughout different parts of the presentation today. I'm a big fan of just pulse checking. What are you super excited about in Discord? What are you thinking about? Is there something that I mentioned in that past list that you're like, holy cow, I didn't know about that. What do we know? How can we get to talking about it? And we'll make sure to dive into that later today. Again, I believe that we should meet people where they're at. So if you have a specific talk or feature or something that you want me to dive in on, let me know and I'm here to help out. I'm a big fan of, I see the DM featuring. I'm really excited about that. It's a huge one here. All right, so if we're ready to jump on, let's get to work. Who's ready to make some Discord servers and play around together? And I'm gonna actually switch my screen. We're gonna be building a Discord server together today. Again, I'm a really big believer, if you're gonna do something, you gotta do it together. So here's a link. I'll drop it in the chat as well. bit.ly/discord4devs. Let's go playing around. We're gonna have some fun. bit.ly Discord for devs. And you'll be invited to a pretty empty Discord at this current point. So all we're going to do, and if you're curious on how I made that server and that you're popping into right now, what we do is we have that create a server. So it'll pop up this little kind of channel here, and it'll give you that preview. The server is where you and your friends start talking. In a Discord, you'll have 4 primary channels that exist: audio, video, events, and forums. And we'll back and dive into that. And also, I really want to highlight Rachel's comment here before we immediately dive in. In the Web3 community, they write, it's generally encouraged to turn Discord DMs off completely because there's so much scamming going on. And I agree. At points when I'm in a server, you can turn off or set levels of different DM permissions by server, which is a really cool feature that they've enabled for safety. So super exciting. All right. I'm going to bump out here. Check in. I'm seeing a bunch of new people. If you have made it to the server, welcome. This is a little test server here I've got going. The onboarding is in general chat. You'll see this is a very new Discord. Once you're in, all I want you to do is just drop a note, say hello. So I'm just going to share my screen. You'll be able to see it here. Make sure that I'm on the right thing. We're actually going to full screen my screen again. So you've got to, we love all the permissions. So we've got this nice little screen. Welcome, friends. All right, now that you're here, once you're in this Discord, all I want you to do is just drop a note, say, hey, what's up? I see y'all here. And if you don't feel comfortable jumping in and out, that's totally fine. You can wave to say hi. This is the, again, totally blank server, totally easy one to kind of just get started, pretty out of the box features. One of the things you'll notice is everybody is kind of just dumping into this general channel. And that's kind of the default when you have a new Discord server. What it'll do is it'll always prompt. So we'll give you a quick little tour about Discord. So Discord, what we'll see here is in Discord, you'll have on this far left panel is all the different communities that you're in. And it'll have anything. So you can see I'm in the Medusa community, Miro developers, CFE.dev one. Open Sauce is one I'm in pretty much. This is a podcast that I love about, encounters. We'll have the Stripe Discord, some friends ones that I'm in. Super great. In this little black panel here, you'll see all of the different channels that are in that existing Discord. In each channel, you'll be able to see who's there. And this will tell you everybody who is in that channel. If we set up different permissions by channel, you'll see that these might change, and that's okay. And so all of this is here, and I'll give you a few ones. I love the gifts coming in. Here you'll see the chat panel. It looks like many of you have found that already. You can do gifts if you have Nitro, which is like chat perks. So you can do added emojis. Gifts here is pretty great. We can have some trending one. Heck yeah, one day till Friday. Emojis are here, and you can add different emojis by servers, and it'll even tell you like this is OBS's streaming one, so I can see like we can drop different emojis. If you want to react to a specific message, you can just use that emoji there. You can drop in different stickers. They have the like different stickers that can happen. OBS ones, I love you always got to appreciate the works on my machine one. You can also drop in links and they'll embed, which is really nice. You'll notice a couple other ones. So I have this moderator only one. It's got only me because I'm the only mod, but I can give y'all mods here. So I can see what we can do is it'll tell me I haven't really created any rules, but if you were to create a moderator, and for the sake of today, I'm going to make sure that everybody is a moderator for this server. So just make sure we're not blowing everything up here, okay? But I want y'all to see all the different actions and opportunities that you can create. Just as a word of note, I do not recommend this for any other server. Please do not give moderation permissions to people you don't know. Personally, this is a server that I made for today, so for learning. So if this gets blown up, really not too upset. You'll notice again, that server online thing here is thing. One thing I did set up a permission on the safety permissions is where we're seeing those verified mods. So I have a setting that is a setting I have created that is you can only see if the moderators have a verified email address, which is something I do recommend. So it's really easy to kind of put a timeout or waiting on that. You also have an announcement channel. So this is a channel. If you want to post an announcement on, it'll kind of go to the entire server. You can make it, if in an announcement channel, you can actually even cross post them to another server. So you can cross post an announcement channel and get updates in other servers, which is really exciting. The other thing you'll see is a stage channel. So I'll jump in right now. You'll see a stage. You can set an event. You can determine different things. We can start a stage with a conversation. We can just show testing out the stage. And I apologize in advance if you get some funky audio-ness, but a stage channel is like your presentation or your webinar. For a period of time, it did limit this to 25 people. Discord is a little funky in how they do their things. So you should be able to hear me. I'm sorry if there's a double audio. I'm going to mute myself on Discord. You'll find the audio controls right here on that bottom of the screen. You can also pop out the chat, which is kind of a nice little feature. I don't know if it's going to show me on what that looks like, but if you pop out that chat, it'll put you in there, and then you can just pop it back in. So here's that entire screen again. We've popped out the chat. I'm on mute, and that's the reason you can't hear the double voices in Discord, because that'd be really annoying. But you can just pop it in, clicking that button. Notice I am still live in the stage. When you close the chat, because it was designed for gaming, I am on audio only. It's going to still keep me in. To end an audio chat at any point, either click leave the stage, disconnect quiet, leave the stage to leave the talking portion, or disconnect quietly. You can also at any point click this little disconnect quietly in the corner. And I'm going to go ahead, switch again so you can see the full screen. I wish StreamYard had the double preview feature where you could double screen share. But again, make sure you are disconnecting anytime you're in audio or a stage channel. There have been those situations where people have thought they disconnected because they closed the window and they're still connected, and I'm now hearing their life's journey inside of this. You'll also see, you can see a request to speak if they show up here. So if you want to raise your hand, you'll see that at the middle bottom of your screen. And you can also see different stage settings. We can change the name here. We can see how things are going. I'm going to go ahead and leave the stage, and you'll notice that the stage stays open. I'm just moved to the audience. From there, I can also invite members to come up on the stage or disconnect quietly. And I'm going to go ahead and disconnect and end that stage. It always gives you this little preview and gets that little smile. Ooh, I love people finding out they have those moderator powers. I love the all caps. Hell yeah, all caps. From there, all of it, we're seeing all of these moderator memes. I'm here for all of that. Now, if you want a more casual channel, we have voice channels, and I'm going to pop in it and you'll be able to see this is a voice channel. I have myself muted. Currently, I am just doing voice. Now, if we want to go hecka meta, I can click on this. What I can do is continue to present, and I can either turn on my camera or share my screen. Now, I have Discord Nitro, which is kind of cool. And I get the perk to that is they do better stream quality, additional, icons or GIFs, or the ability to boost a server, which creates it aware. I can see others here. I can turn on my camera and say hi, and you can get a slightly different camera angle. We can share my screen. And if you want to see the StreamYard view I've got, check it out. Here's the StreamYard view. We're going super meta here. I can stop streaming, turn off my camera, and it'll tell you even have these little tools that'll let you pick your mic, your audio, where I'm at, what I'm doing. They also have the inbox, which will tell you kind of your notifications across all channels. You can look at just mentions. That's for later on in the channels. But even change your settings. So if I don't want to see anybody on video, you can turn it off. I can also have a chat here, which will have this nice little chat and send, this is a message that only people in this voice channel will see. So this channel will be primarily there. Now, exiting out, and friendly reminder, make sure to click the red disconnect button. You can't just leave the chat or minimize your Discord. You've got to press disconnect. So disconnect, which closes the voice channel. Those notes will be there for next time. Now, quick vibe check. How are we feeling? Want to make sure that we're feeling good. So just moving on here, I'm going to do the same thing. We can do the same commands as Slack. We have a here command, which has that beautiful here and just notifies people online, or we can do an everyone chat. Because I'm going to go drunk with power, I'm going to use that beautiful everyone chat. We're going to drop a vibe check. How you feeling? And then reply with a GIF on how you feel. Reply, we can even create a thread here. I'm going to make a thread. We're going to do a winky face. Boom. Thread started. Message here. If you're using a tool like Common Room or Comsor or Orbit or many others of those tools, they do pick up, most of them, I do believe, Homeroom's another one, they do pick up those thread channels. So what we can see, all of these things happen. But if you've got a vibe check, drop it in my vibe check thread. You'll be able to access the thread by clicking message and dropping down to the vibe check section. New challenger approaching. High five. Everything's fine. You got this, Todd. I feel in you. High five back. I can add a reaction. We can plus them. I'm going to high five and plus all of them. You'll notice all these threads. Threads pop out like this in Discord. Whoa. We've got some woes. If you want to add everything, you can also use slash commands like in Slack. So again, brand new Discord, I can do things like table flip, and it'll ask me like, table flip, this is so cool. So this is so cool. Table flip. Some fun little ones. And then it's like, we've got this. If we just want to do the simple Giphy, it's got it there. Totes, cool, dude. We've got some totes, cool, dude. The other thing, if you're running this for a company, one of the cool things that you can do is make sure that your GIFs are on a rating scale. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the server-specific settings. So if we're feeling good, going to server-specific settings. And I also want to call out one quick thing. You'll notice I didn't go over the forums. And what we'll do is I'll show that around here in a second. So we're going to move on to server settings, which has one of my kind of favorite little things here to kind of move on. We can discuss archive categories and the temporary channels as well. So don't feel like you are overwhelmed, and we can definitely do that. So don't hesitate. What we're going to be doing now is jumping into server settings. Now, some of you should be having these because of that moderator feature. If you don't, make sure your email is verified, and that's just kind of that things here. What it says is you'll see icon. I can change it here. We can change to whatever we've got. If we have a cool icon, change the server name. If you have an inactive channel, it'll move you. If it's like, hey, dude, you were breaking a rule. Discord has a feature called timeout. And timeout basically means like, yo, timeout. That's what happens is you're basically, you can see what's going on, but you're going to be moved to a channel where you got to go take a timeout. You can't be posting messages. You can't be engaging. You can't continue to fight the flame. The other thing is we have the systems messages channel. So when you kind of saw that message where it said, so-and-so has joined the server, this channel determines us. In some servers, we put that into like an onboarding one and see what's going on here. And, all right, I see we got a minor confusion here. So if you've got any questions, feel free to slow down. All I'm going to do is make sure that everybody has those beautiful permissions. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm slowing down a little bit here. And we're just going to jump into the moderator channel, edit it. I'm going to give some permissions. I want everybody to be able to manage this channel. I want everybody to be able to channel permissions. And this is specific channel permissions. I want to add members and roles to the moderator only channel. So all I am doing, and I apologize for the confusion because I know this is a kind of a headache thing. We're going to slow down here. All I'm doing is just giving everybody access to that private channel. So everybody should have access to that moderator channel. Oh, and server settings. Thank you for asking. And I know we've got a few asking. So I believe everybody should have that moderator role. Everybody should have access to that moderator role. On here, we're going to go up to the top, server settings. And Tony, please don't apologize at all. That's what we're here for. I'm completely cool with it. That's what this is learning for. We can show all these messages. So right now, anything's like helpful tips for server setup. If you're a pro at server, you can DM that. You can remove that sticker reply. You can send a random welcome message. Not really need that. Notification settings. You can be all messages. Don't do that. You'll drive people nuts. Or only mentions. And again, from here, I will see, I'm going to create a role, give everybody a moderator role if you can't access server settings, and just change that. So roles are like permissions in Discord. So this is when you start getting levels and access and different ways of participating in a server. So if you're new to this, go to the roles section, give yourself permissions. I want them to be able to manage the server and save changes. I want them to view everything because, again, if this is a learning server, how the heck are you supposed to learn if we don't turn all these on? Great. Have a wonderful time. Go wild, friends. I'm turning all these on, and I'm going to go add everybody. Add members to this role. And apologies on that. Guys got to listen to my sound effects as we walk through this process. We're all learning at different speeds here, all learning at different fun kind of times. Add them all. So y'all should have access to this server. So I've gone ahead. You should all have access to be able to moderate the server. I've given y'all access to kind of go wild. You can turn on events, save changes. And even if you want to give admin privileges, have a great time. Mute members. Again, we're going to blow up this server all the time after this event, so you're not going to hurt my feelings on this kind of stuff. Pew, pew, pew. Give on all the permissions. Go drunk with power, friends. So again, all of it is good. And some of that I realized was on me. So apologies for that little learning curve. Even all the pro stuff gets confusing at times. If we wanted to create roles, and roles are really great for, you've seen this like when Discords have permissions, like if you are a JavaScript developer or front-end developer, react with this emoji and get this permission. We'll go through on how to do that later. But one of the things is like we can even just simply do ones like create a role and go super secret fan club. So if we're going to create a role, and if you want to create a role while I'm doing this, go ahead. We can even make them purple, pink. We can give them an icon. I think I have like different things. I don't have a boost this server, but you could give them an icon next to their name. If we want to display them separately and target different members, we can do that. So I'm just going to go ahead, give a role and pick some random members to do this. So at, very strategic thinking of my member picking by the scroll bar, I have picked these people. They will be able to see what the server looks like as a super secret fan club member. This is really great if you want to have a company only discussion or a private one or get away from everything. We'll then create a new channel, text. And what I can do is I can create a super secret fan club channel, turn on that private channel, go next, and I can turn on and just select those people in that role and create it. So now if you are in the super secret fan club, we can talk about super secret things go here. Now, The one thing I'll give the caveat for on this, because I've given you all moderator privileges, you're all going to be able to see this channel. So also I'm sharing my screen in a super secret channel. So because you all have moderator privileges, I can see all of you online. And so that will make it so everybody can see it. However, only the people in the super secret fan club could see this. And so jumping in. All right, glad to see you guys are enjoying this. I'm appreciating the chat on the CFE site and the Discord. So both are going in here. I'm going to be doing this. Of course, Tony, great. Happy to be doing this. Roles, you can do roles to just have a category of members to ping all at once without any special permissions, and different people for different people who can help with different programming languages. And yes, that is so true. Think about it like Slack groups. If you use that at your previous organization, like we had one for support, and you could just do @support in Slack if you had an issue. We can do things. So if I just want to ping my super secret fan club members in our general channel, I can go to super secret fan club, and I see we've got a few extra fan clubs coming on. We can have some super secret, extra secret fan clubs, and we can have a bunch of different channels. So I'm really digging this. And Amy, yeah, that's what I love about Gitpod. And one of the things that I even want to point out in this as well is we have these channels. I've turned them on so you can see them in the sidebar. If you were truly making a super secret fan club, probably don't put them in the side panel in the first. And I love this question. Thank you for posting. We have inactive but reading lurkers. How do you refer to them in the community? So what do you call them? How do you reactivate them? We're going to go on that a little bit later. And one of the big reasons behind that is because when I have seen inactive people in a Discord community, honestly, I leave them there. You can see on the side of my page how many stupid Discords I am in. And I say stupid with love. It's just like I looked at them once and then I joined, and then some of these are even my own things that I made and then I have ignored, and I have just ignored them. So, I'm a very active lurker in a lot of other communities, and like, let's kick into side channel, which is just totally I have turned off my notifications in all of these, where some of these are just archived. So yeah, the end. That's what it looks like. It's a lot. But going back into our learning Discord for devs, Vanille, on that questions, I would, for reactivating them, what happens, and I'm going to show you something dangerous. So I can go into the server and I can just basically turn off. I don't really want to know about anything. I want to turn off my notifications. I can turn off all of these. And so, yeah, I don't really want to know. I can change my notifications. I can turn off when someone pings everyone, which is my pet peeve. I can turn off events. I can change my privacy setting by profile or how I appear. And that's a great way to kind of keep things chill. The other thing that's really great is just controlling it even by channel. So if you're finding that the channels are getting annoying, just right click, mute channel. Muting it just turns it off until you don't want to turn it on again. You can clone channel if you have the permissions upset light. You can edit channel, invite people specifically just to that channel, or change your notification settings. Like, one thing that we used to do at my old job is we had a API questions channel, and people who didn't touch our API were like, do not bother me. And so they would just turn off the notifications for that channel. Alternatively, you can create those roles and just turn on permissions. You'd opt into a channel like that. Another one, best way to do polls in Discord. So adding questions and options in text and suggesting reactions, that's a really common way. There's a couple of bots that we'll go over later that'll show you even advanced features on that. So again, kind of going through the pace of the group. So thank you for putting those questions. What I'm going to do is put these in a new text channel of text. And this is questions for later. And all I'm doing, creating a questions for later channel, dropping this in. Super glad that you're learning a lot. And I'm just going to put Isabel and drop that here, and then create a thread, and then be like polls on Discord, and being like, if you want the answer, write a message to be notified if you didn't turn notifications off. The other thing is the Discord folders. So you can really see my Discord folders. To create that, we just kind of bop down here in this bottom. You can see add a server, and that's if I wanted to create a new server. You can see the public servers, but the other thing you can do is create a Discord folder. So if you see when I'm in multiple, what you can do is go to the top page of your settings. Server settings are up here on that Discord settings. Discord for later. What we're doing here, jumping in on all of that. But making folders, what you'll do as I do this is up in the notifications, which of course is away from the full screen that you see. You can create a folder of new ones. So close all folders, folder setting, mark folders of red. Even just by dragging them on top of each other, you'll create a folder. So I think these are really old servers. Again, merge them on top of each other and you'll create a new one. There's also a setting in top of the Discord settings there, but that's a good one. Awesome. Woohoo. Great. All that good stuff. All right. Jumping into more settings. Events. If you have events, you can create an event here. We can even create where it's at, a stage channel, voice channel. We can put it somewhere else. We can put like at the local hang around the corner. We can put really fun things. We can put Twitch channels. You can use other streaming tools to get here. And now let's dive into the magic of DMs. And so that's kind of the big last one for the server today. So our DMs will pop up right up here on that direct messages where you kind of saw them earlier. What we're going to do, and I'm going to just find someone. Hopefully you've got it on in this server. I'm going to message someone here. Rachel, I'm going to jump on, pick on you. And what I'm going to do is just send a message and I can see a message. You can see on this side, you'll see people who I've recently DM'd. You can see people, I can add a friend. I hope you don't mind me adding a friend. If you don't want me, you can not friend me. That's fine. I can wave and drop a little wave. I can see this is a DM message here. That's what it's got there. And I hope you don't mind me picking on you a little bit. Thank you for letting me use that DM thing. And apologies if you didn't like that. Don't really like to put people on the spot on that sort of thing. And normally I create a second account for that type of stuff. For other things, if we want to move servers around, we can make rules. We can create folders. So if we want to create folders in our server, we can do so by adding either like the channel or kind of going in this top being like, I want to create a new category and say, this is a category. And sometimes you'll see this if we have like tutorials or new channels or new things, doing so on here. So questions here. Awesome. Good question on this one. So on Emra, I'm going to jump into your question next. So one of the biggest things that we see with those voice and text channels, but I can't create stages or events, is that a paid feature? It's not. It is what they call a community feature. So that community feature, what happens, and I'm going to create a thread for this, is turning on a community setting for your server. So this is a community setting. And I know there's a slight lag, so thanks for your patience as I kind of am multitasking with the stream being about 20 seconds ahead. On this, from the server settings, you'll have to go to server settings and you'll see a community server. If I didn't turn the community server on, if you create a brand new server, it'll just say, make this a community server. And people that don't have a community server can't have those stages or other purposes. And that was part of that most recent change there. So that's kind of the one there. Other things you can do, you can allow or not allow different emojis, stickers. If again, you're boosted, that's when you do a paid plan and then boost your server. You can add widgets if you want to turn on a server widget. You can create a widget that is kind of embed so you can see it in other sites. We see this a lot at conferences when you have server templates. I'm going to make a channel that has the best tutorials or the best different things. It's designed for maybe my after school club or my gaming crew or my sourdough baking club, whatever that is, you can create a thing for it. Custom invite links. So if you ever see Discord links that are like discord.com/coolthingshere, there you go. That's one you can do. Integrations, that's your YouTube, Twitch. If you have certain channels that you're following, webhooks, if you're building bots and apps, and again, we'll get into that kind of stuff later. That's where we'll see a lot of those features. For moderation tools, this is a really important one, and we'll dive into more later. But what we'll be doing is having those membership screenings. So you can say, here's an example of my server. They have to verify their email. I can say server rules. It'll be like, must like cfe.dev. Great. Civil and respectful. They have these great awesome ones. Fun fact, Discord is one of the few social platforms that actually enforces misinformation on their platform, which is a really cool sort of feature that is there. So I can click save. Now we have server rules if you were to just join all of that. Safety, you can do things like if you are doing public events and posting your Discord server publicly, turn these on. I cannot iterate more. I will tell an embarrassing story of when I did not turn them on. I had the verified email on. I thought that was enough. I was running a asynchronous conference, a user conference, a professional one, and it was like week 3 on my new job. Go me. I had the low on. I thought it was fine. Had media content from all members. Fine. We were in a audio channel. This was before Stages came out. And someone joined the audio channel and went off mute and then made a bunch of more accounts and kept going. And let's just say there was some inappropriate bodily noises that we heard from an individual during a conference where my new boss of 2 weeks was on server trying to interview someone. Moral of the story, just assume the internet is bad, especially if you're promoting it publicly. And yeah. Automod, if people have started spamming people, you can turn that on and off. You can say, please do not mention 20 people at once. You can send alerts to people. You can create new rules. That's a very beta feature. I'm in all the beta things here and I have a problem with that. So you can also see all of these different ways. So if you are running one from a company and you're like, hey, what are these people doing? I have a bunch of randos in my company. And they're like, oh, wow, so-and-so just added a bunch of weirdos. Don't really want that. You can also see the ban hammer here. So, and it does tell you like, hey, they're by account and by IP, and they do tell you how people can circumvent it. So just be mindful. Overview. This is if you wanted to create things. Again, disable will turn off different insights or whatnot. If there's a primary language, it's a cool little feature that I really appreciate because it'll put you up globally. Community updates. You can see server insights. Because I created the server this morning, there's going to be no insights here, but you'll see some pretty basic one of like how many members are active. I'll give you a peek at what one looks like. Partner program. This is a cool little feature that they do of getting beta context, and I've been very fortunate to have been part of it in the past, but it allows you to have more engagement, more features, really awesome things, but you have to make sure that you're doing has to be 500 members, has to be at least 8 weeks old, tells you when, has to be 2-factor for moderation and partner like context. So that's always a really exciting one there. Discovery. Right now, if you are doing Discord, you can see like, hey, this one needs to be, discoverable. So if you want to open it up to the public, go ahead and do that. You can even create a nice little welcome screen where it's like, I want to do a welcome screen and I want to put just general chat They chat about Wumpus is a little character, blue guy that you see in Discord. So we can say, cool things alert. This is general chat. So general chat about things. I'm gonna set an emoji. We can make it an angel emoji. Save. Yay. And you can give them a preview. Like, you know, if we wanted to add another channel, they could be like, drop your Discord here. So this is like, if you were making Discord, let's use a little game emoji. Let's do, curling, heck yeah. There you go. Boost status, again, that's that pro paid feature here. It's expensive. Boosts are $34.99 a year. They used to have Nitro, which is a different personal thing that they have. And you can see how different people are. You can even prune members. So pruning is like, I want to get rid of people who were last seen more than 7 days ago or more than 30 days ago and have these roles. If you wanted to get rid of people, it'll tell you to do that. It's a kind of a little way to do that. You can even see invites. So it'll tell you where these people are coming from, who's using it, how many times they've been used, and when those invites expire. So yes, Discord invites do expire. And then you have that danger zone of delete server here. And no, we don't want to do that because we're learning. So awesome. Awesome. Okay. I've got a direct message here from Rachel. Woo! Got a little message back here. Okay. We're going to go back to the slides here in a second, but I wanted to dive in all of this. And so to get this tutorial in a public link setting so we can embed it in the onboarding process and give them a detailed way of where Discord works. I will be posting a Discord tutorial at the end. So if you've got this, I will be definitely doing it asynchronously. And then I do know this will be on CFE for Dev. The other one is if we can message people without adding a friend request, what is the benefit of sending a friend request? Love this question. Now we're going to go in. We just did server settings. Whew, let's go into safety settings. Let's warm ourselves up. Thank you, Isabel, for asking that one. On this, in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you will notice I have got my server settings right here. So in that, I see the server settings. Things are going well. Kind of everything going. I can see I'm on mute. I keep this on mute because I am a paranoid person. The other thing that we've got is our audio. If I want to deafen, if people are being real loud, I can turn it off. If I want to search a server, I can search, but I can go into my user settings. So you'll be able to see your phone number. I've been a Hype Squad Brilliance. That's a Discord thing. How long I've been a subscriber for. I keep this do not disturb on all the time because beeping. If I want to change my username or so on and so forth, one thing going back real quick, oops, click too fast. If I click on my profile, it'll give me the who I am. Discord has a username that has numbers behind it. I don't know why it does that. So that is just a unique identifier that they use. Part of it. It'll have a little about me. You can change this by server, which is a super cool feature, which is something, again, my day job is in this. I've managed this professionally. I've changed this by server. So I don't necessarily want to be in my day job in my podcasting server. I don't really want to be known by that, or I don't want to be a tech person. And I'll show you how to change that in a second. And I can change, if I want to do custom statuses and be like teaching a Discord. Ooh, if I can type on public. And it'll tell me like what I'm up to. I can add a cool little emoji. Let's do the party parrot. Woo! Tell everybody I'm teaching a Discord workshop. It's kind of a fun one. Sometimes if you are asking for a server with advanced statistics or advanced verification, you'll need to copy and paste your handle. What you can do, just click here, copied. They used to have a lot of, Discord is very known for programming like Easter eggs in their products. So they used to have it, you'd click it a bunch and it would go, ow, which was kind of a fun little cute feature. More personal settings. Going back to that original question that was asked, you can turn on and off your ability to receive DMs. So again, I'm comfortable if I want to change my user profile or even just change profiles by things, I can see what different communities and change what it looks like within servers. So I can change this. It's all marked down, which is really awesome. privacy and safety things, I can scan direct messages from everybody. I also have turn messages off unless they're a friend, or do not scan. Do not recommend that one. Either go with those top two. I allow direct messages from server members, which is on a server privacy. And then I can turn it on for people I may not know. If I was concerned or I felt like I wanted to kind of increase that privacy, I turn that off. One thing to note, if you're managing a server for a open source or a brand or a technical community, it's really nice to have this, because if you're running an event and people are too embarrassed to ask something in public or a public chat, I turn it on kind of to have that there. So use data, screen reader usage, request all my data, which is a nice little feature. You can even see like authorized apps. So you can see the different apps that I'm using. We'll go again into more of that later. Here's all the different devices that I'm using Discord in, kind of like that. Different connections. So if I was on and I had GitHub open or Xbox, I actually have a few more on here. Funny story about these connections. If you are listening to Spice Girls and you have this open and you're in your community server and you've been listening to Spice Girls for 35 minutes, someone in your community might be like, Spice Girls, really? So it does show you on that profile. It'll tell you friends request, and it'll even let you know who can send you a friend request. Again, I'm pretty open to it. I can tell you those billing settings. If you want to boost servers, I've got 2 unused ones. Kind of those subscriptions. I've got, things there on gift inventory. Sometimes Discord, if you're a pro member, will send you some prizes. I can change. All right. Ready for my mind-blowing one? When many of you logged in today, your Discord server was probably in dark mode. I can't stand Discord in dark mode. I think it is overwhelming. I can't stand it. I turn it to light mode and leave it that way. I also keep my computer in light mode. I am one of those super weirdos. So there you go. Put it in the light mode. You can also choose to say cozy or modern. I like that nice little cozy, nice, easy to read ones. You can even change, like, I want more spacing between groups. Then I'll give you a little preview what it looks like. If we're gonna go dark mode, just not as friendly. Like that light mode. Can see how big I want my chat or how small, how much spacing I want between the groups. I kind of lean towards more spacing, and how big zoomed level it is. So that's a huge one. Accessibility. If you want to show row colors, you can sync profiles, sync your Discord theme. I didn't even realize some of these. These are some new ones. All of that. And TIL, Rachel, people with astigmatism have a harder time reading dark mode text. Oh my goodness, blows my mind, because I have astigmatism pretty bad. Comes with the bifocals since I was in the 7th grade. So yeah, I cannot see crap in a dark mode, and that just blew my mind. Can even turn on like reduce motions or themes. If you want to enter it, you can say send message. So if you don't want to just hit enter and send, you can turn that on. Sometimes I'll do that. Text to speech rate, voice and video. If you want to do different inputs and outputs, do check this. This can actually cause some problems. If you want to do the video settings, I should have had that on all the time. Make cool backgrounds. It'll have different things there if you want different processing. Text and images, you can kind of see a lot of these different ones, but so on and so forth with everything. Trying to think if there's another ones that we've got going on here. So a lot of notifications. Again, turn those, desktop notifications. And yes, Discord will auto scan that computer for your games. So if someone's using your personal computer, but it can turn it off. I kind of make sure that that is disconnected. So again, going to that profile, I don't like to have my things on there on my profile. So, and I'm good to hear I'm not the only light mode weirdo. Yeah, streamer mode is really great. If you're a streamer, you can choose it to hide personal information or hide invite links, which is super awesome. Again, that English. And if we have those advanced ones, we can even turn on developer mode and app test. So if you were testing out a new app, which is always kind of a fun one, you can goof around with it there. But, okay. got through a lot. Here we go. Yeah, rad. If you want to kind of see these things, we're seeing a lot of tips coming in. Love to see these coming in. Thanks all for joining. If we've got some new ones, we're going to jump back to the chat or to the slides. To the slides. Again, we have those 4 primary type of channels. We can go over forums in just a second. I'll show you what one looks like in a active forum server. 4 forums. Discord, the way that they do feature development and then the way that they release features is they do make people sort of have those kind of certain time use or accessibility to get those forums and get it going. But woohoo. All right. Taking it to the next level. Woot, woot, is as they would say. Let's talk bots, tools, and other add-ons. So if you see people doing verification, we see the me.6 bot is a really common one, and I'll drop that in there. So me.6, we can often sometimes see other tools. We did open up developer tools. So I do know that people sometimes like to link this to their own developer tools. I actually do know the warp.dev team made this super cool bot where anytime that someone posts a message in their support channel in their channel, what happens is it kind of DMs their support channel on Slack. So they pipe them over, which is really exciting. That's a really exciting one. We did kind of quickly touch on the Twitter and other integrations. However, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you, be very, very mindful of security. If you're not vetting those Discord bots properly, and yes, many of them are third party and they are open source, your community could be at risk. And we see this a lot and hear about it a lot in crypto. People will have bots to verify if you have a certain crypto token or an NFT. And with some of these bots, they give you the permission to take over the entire server. So much like I gave y'all the admin access to a server that if you blow it up, have a great time. You probably wouldn't want to do that if you were doing a Discord server for people who maybe, wanted to steal that information. That would be less than stellar. So please be mindful of that. A couple of Discord bots, and again, switching gears to the Discord server, what we'll do here, pop back in. So I'll show you how we will integrate a lot of these. So I'm going to quickly share my screen again. We're just going to set up the most popular Discord bot. So again, sharing my entire screen. Let's do it. You can see my presentation here. What I'm going to do is just set up the most popular Discord bot, and that's the Me6 bot. For my knowledge, this one did pass our security test at my last job. So if you are at an organization that needs a little more security, that's something you can do. I'm already logged in, and it just takes my Discord login. It has an NFT pass. It has other tools. It has sort of other ways of doing this. But anytime that you see those things that are sort of new bots and stuff, or new like Twitch, YouTube, Twitter events, transferring, putting on servers, playing music in a server, or opting into notifications, that's likely a Me6 bot. So I'm going to go ahead, add it to Discord. I'm going to select a server. It's going to take a second to load. I'm going to go ahead, click on the Learning Discord from Devs. It's going to ask me, hey, do you want to log in again? And of course, we didn't keep my Discord logged in. So we're going to do some off-screen magic here. Again, turn on two-factor authentication. This is super important. You'll notice, okay, so I said, hey, turn it on the cfe.dev Discord. Look at how many permissions I have to give this Discord bot. If I was doing something with bad intention or bad purposes, the really icky stuff like admin would not be great to kind of publicly in. So, Rachel, I kind of think the Me6 one is easier versus Dino. I do know the pricing, when I last compared, the pricing was a little bit better. And I really like that. And TIL, today I learned about Sesh FYI. So I'm going to definitely give that one a check out because I have not heard of that one yet. So thank you, Amy, for dropping in that one. But the big thing that I like about it, and you can even change some of these, but it does kind of freak me out. But again, please, 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 that permissions make me real nervous and get going. Oh, yeah, everything feels longer live. Tell me about it. So I'm going to give it that permission. We're jumping into a server. And one thing to note, you have a thing here to kind of tell you with the Discord servers. Servers are owned by one person. So if you are at a company, make another account. Put those credentials in your company's 1Pass or LastPass or whatever password manager that you use. Lock them up because been there, done that as well. And Discord support is actually very nice if that happens and all of that good stuff. So got it. Thanks. That we can see in here. Some of them are premium. If you needed that premium stuff, that's totally fine. You can do paid tiers, new welcomes. Let's do a reaction role. So I'm going to enable this plugin in our server, and the reaction role is probably one of the ones that I use the most in this server. And so when someone mentioned creating roles by what you need to do, we can do this by jumping in. I want to create a channel. We're going to put it in the general chat. I'm going to call it Pick a Cool Role. I can say, react to the message to get your role, to get your roles. They're super cool. Be mindful of times. It'll give you a nice little button. And it'll say button editors. It'll say emojis. I can say pick up from button if you want to click a button to add a role, or more commonly we see the emoji. And this is something that they also have in their docs. So if we want to go docs, Discord, let's say .com or Discord, wow, developer docs. These are those Discord docs. It also has that actions there. So I have seen people, and I've built myself different tools for those Discord developers if you really want to build your own. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Documentation is on GitHubs, and it has a lot of really fun stuff. So one thing we're going to do, let's add a super cool bot. So we want to allow member to pick up multiple roles. I want to do an emoji one. A pretty standard one that we see here is pronouns. So we can put, let's do purple heart for she, her. I just want to be able to add emoji, all of that good stuff. So I want to do that. I don't have that, but the other thing is and I just goofed. Make sure you have your roles set up first. You'll have to go to your Learning Discord, server settings, roles, add roles. Let's do pronouns. So display, she, her, him, save changes, add a new role, he, him. This is kind of a pretty standard one, and I going kind of unfortunately with the gender stereo normed colors. But gender can be whatever the heck you want it. So these aren't colors that vibe with you. Apologies. Nominate a favorite color here. They, them. So going to give kind of all of this there. This is a really common one. Again, just refreshing the page. Reaction roles. It's going to pop me right to that creation page. We're going to add this bot in here. Channel, again, dropping it in a general chat channel. A lot of times you can also do it in an announcement channel, so not other people are going to post in that. Reaction name, pronouns to let other members know. Members know your pronouns. Awesome. Add emojis, add reactions. Do heart, do purple heart, add that there. It'll give me all my roles right here. So she, her, add reaction. Again, I don't know why people are all into the dark mode, not me. Blue heart. So again, just for the sake of inclusivity, I really encourage that you put this in, and it is also an opt-in process. Always opt in instead of opt out. And one thing that it is letting me know, it's like, yo, this is a premium feature. So make sure that you're upgrading to unlock it. So it'll make me say, if I want to add multiple roles here, it's going to unfortunately make me pay for that. So you would add that third one and it would put it in there. And so I'm not about to put people in a binary. So we're going to just do, if you want to be a super secret fan club member, what you'll have to do is, and it's, notice that alert we just got. So it'll be like, hey, I can't do that. Please fix that by put my role above all the other roles listed here. So what you'll have to go do is back to all of this and make sure that these are different setting levels. So making sure that we're moving them up and down, giving them enough permissions to make that possible. And we can even just add another cool role. Moving that MESIC to the very top will allow them to have more things. On roles, this isn't hierarchy. So this will make it there. This becomes a hierarchy. Just going to add, should be able to add the super secret fan club now and role, general role. Here we go. And that's it. Once it's done, we can save or publish. And this will go ahead and we'll see this popping in the announcement servers. So I have done this. Notice it doesn't give me good descriptions here. So we'll need to edit this message. And it just says, let other people know your pronouns. I will have to go in and edit that. So clicking in and editing it here to tell people like, yo, take a roll. And then you'll be like, purple equals super secret fan club. Blue equals roll. Click save. And because of the magic of technology, that has been updated. If you click on that, you will now see what role you has. I can see hovering over it. It'll tell you right here on the person's profile, their roles. Yay. You'll also notice notes. They're private, they're to you, or I can DM someone right from here. So again, I can put a note right here and DM someone. But that's kind of the basics there for that sort of thing. Again, now the magic of going back and forth between slides and other products. Again, for the sake of time, just being conscious and of where we're going. I want to make sure that we are getting this going. But again, mindful of security, making sure that these are very intentional, very mindful groups when we are talking about security. You saw how many permissions that required to be in your Discord, and that happened there. But let's see if we pop it back up. I'm jumping back in, sharing my screen, possibilities and potential of Discord and where we see things happening next up. First and foremost, I don't think Discord's going anywhere. We have a lot of options. They are heavily developing and continuing to improve on their API. They're continuing to launch new features. They're continuing to build on this platform. However, I do think we have some things that we need to be mindful of as we move forward. I think we have less tolerance for bullcrap in these servers, and we have less, tolerance for all of the different things that are happening. So that's kind of a big thing. Please, if you're in a server, and I know Vania asked the question earlier today about using people, how you reactivate people who are, have ran away from the Discord. Well, please don't use the @everyone. Use roles to notify people who opt into notifications. Allow people to opt out of channels. Allow people to opt in if they want to be bothered. One of the things that does this really well is the open sourced Discord, and they do a really great job of letting people opt into how much they want to do. So that's really exciting and really cool to see. We're also seeing where people don't really want to kind of put up for that. The other thing that we see is a lot of docs and a lot of API use. Again, I'm a big fan, and one of the things I'm continuously excited for is seeing how many people are out there building and creating new opportunities and new things on top of this base layer of docs and APIs. So first off, open source bots. I just dropped a quick link there. It'll be in the chat as well. If you kind of see it, feel free, contribute, add more, add your own, build on top of it, share what you're building. If you find something super cool, again, I want to hear from you, because this is the stuff I geek out about, is how platforms are opening themselves up. And it's the reason I love DevTools and working with developers, is because the world is literally endless, which is pretty freaking exciting. So polling an audience, and we can jump right in and see that link. I do believe there is a polling one. So I do know that, oh no, and did my bit.ly link and die on me on that? You can do the, if you go to bit.ly, open source bots, it takes you, there is a few of them. So you can see anything from chatbot for Discord, single bot for anyone, music bots, different. I'm a little concerned about some of the data mining ones that I see here, but all of the different ones. And so I think, we got a bit.ly.com. So that's let's see, I think that's on me. Whoopsie. There's an updated address. What it takes you to is, and again, I found this, it's like, here you go, keep contributing, different event spots, different server kits. If you're making ones, put some fun ones in. I've seen pets, I've seen people do cool things in this. So keep adding, keep contributing, keep building on top of all of this. But lastly, I'm a big believer, if we're going to be together online and we're going to be doing all of that sort of stuff, we've got to have that platform etiquette. So I'm going to wrap things up by getting a little bit of platform etiquette, kind of what we're doing with everything. So kind of coming to an end here. Do not forget that virtual spaces have real life consequences. Just because you are online doesn't mean that people aren't impacted. You have the permission and the privilege to be interacting with one another. And don't take this for granted. We see misinformation, disinformation, hateful words, hateful speech. If you're making a Discord, make it inclusive. Remember, these are communities. They're about multiple people doing things together. A couple other best things. Yo, I see you, game recognized game. I want you to acknowledge members and messages as you're creating a Discord server. So many times people are like, I made a Discord server and 50 people came and no one responded to me. And I'm like, well, yeah, did you say hello to them? How awkward would it be if you went to a party and no one showed you like, hi, my name's Erin. Welcome to the party. Refreshments are over there. Here's the snacks. The bathroom is down the hall to the right. And I'm right here if you want to have a good time. When you're creating virtual spaces, whether it's on Discord or Slack or Twitter Space, don't be afraid to drop those in, and even those like virtual presentations. So at the beginning of the workshop today, I gave you a little roadmap of all the adventures we were going on. And we went on those adventures together. Make sure you're acknowledging, make sure you're providing, and you'll be surprised. If you're not just posting links about what you're interested in and what cool things are happening and actually taking a genuine interest in others, you'll be surprised what happens. This is my pet peeve. I know that someone out there in the world is probably saying all of this. Someone out there in the world might have disagree with me, but this is my ultimate pet peeve. If you abuse the everyone handle at everyone, I will lose my crap. I will lose it. And I will probably mute your Discord. I will mute your Slack, or if not, and you bug me and you go, you haven't responded to the last 17 at everyone's. No. No, thank you. No one wants another notification. I literally uninstalled an email extension today because it was giving me too many notifications. And I was like, love the extension, but if I have one more notification from this Gmail extension, I'm going to lose it. especially in the world of community and developer relations. And in these times when we are all online and doom scrolling more than we can admit, do not be another reason that people want to throw their phone out the window. Like, no, don't do that. Very big pet peeve there. And I'm someone, I personally believe it is on me to manage my notifications. So I don't mind if you send me a message at 2:00 in the morning, but do not expect a response from me. And if I email you in my late night thoughts at 2:00 in the morning, I do not mean to reply. I do have something in my email signature that says, my working day may not be your working day. So please respond when things are necessary. And Eric, no apologies for those caps because I feel you. I want to yell this in caps all the time. Read, but better yet, enforce those server rules. I recently gave a talk all on online moderation and online content policy and why it matters for businesses. Too many times, it's like the same thing. If you're an open source contributor and you have a contribution guide and no one reads it, does the contribution guide exist? If a tree falls in the forest and no one, sees the tree fall, did the tree actually fall? You have to read the server rules and then you have to enforce them. And that goes for people in and out of your server. And do not feel bad for enforcing them. It's okay because you'll never know about what, Vinia said earlier about if someone if someone is lurking and they see someone being a jerk, they're just going to leave or mute you. Not cool. And a code of conduct only works if it is enforced, meaning you can have the best code of conduct in the world, but if you are not putting time, money, energy, resources towards that code of conduct and thinking about it, I constantly think when I'm doing and leading a community, I have a quarterly code of conduct review. And that's what I did at my last job. And I just picked a date on the calendar and had a recurring calendar event every month or every about 3 months. And I said, time to review the code of conduct. And so really important to make sure that's have that. Where do you put the code of conduct? You have that in that rules section on your Discord. You can create that separate page and we'll show you where it's at. If it is something, also drop it on your website. I like to think of even just my own page of how I think about that. And then have those proactive policies and social contracts, but then also have the staffing and moderation to enforce it. So totally do that. And again, on the policy, there's a really great, I'll have to find it. There's a really great GitHub repo that actually has a bunch of different social contacts and policy. I know Jay Miller is actually working on a really great VS Code extension that has a bunch of them. And I know that repo now has a bunch of different policies. And I know that because I got to contribute to that. So that was pretty fun. But it's all on us. I know we're just a few people here at a CFE.dev workshop, but I believe it is the web is only going to be a better place because of each one of us. And that's my cheesy, hope for the world. And takes me back to when I was lying about my age on the internet so I could play Sims and commit to the custom forums when I was technically too young to be doing that. But the reason that I loved it is because making the web a better place is important. And on the tone of code of conducts that I always like to add is there's a line that a mentor gave to me years ago. And they said, the line is, this server or this community is not subject to your definition of fairness. You do not have to play nice by someone else's rules. You can be the boss. And that's okay. Granted, some people might not like that. But again, have that kind of thing there. If you're interested and you want to talk more about edgelords and moderation, I love it. I have a couple recordings that I can send you on that. That again is another topic near and dear to my heart. But before we kind of dive into Q&A, this is where you can find me online. I'm at Erin McHale, probably on all the platforms, except for TikTok because I forgot my login for the at Erin McHale because I used an auto password generator and it's minimized and forgot my password. Didn't have an email or a backup thing, so lessons learned. But at Erin McHale _ on TikTok, or you can find me at erin.cool is my personal site, or erin.bio, and I stream on Twitch every Wednesdays for Happy Build Hour teaching fun tech and tech adjacent skills to that are just kind of fun. So next week, I believe we've got one on the power of ranting in the tech community and why it makes the world a better place and how to have a good cathartic rant if you're interested in joining me on Twitch on Wednesday. But without further ado, that's all I've got for you today, but we can dive into a few questions. So, woo!
Wow, that was awesome. In fact, I was sometimes a little distracted because I was going into my own server and be like, oh yes, okay, I need to fix that. Clearly, I had an announcements channel that was actually not technically an announcements channel, and things like that. So I learned a lot. I know there's still some people here and they've been here for a little while, but we do have some time for questions. If anybody has any questions that weren't answered, I think there may even still are there. There's still some in your questions for later.
Yeah,
maybe we can get to.
Yeah, so I can switch screens again. Whew, magic of all the technology. I feel like I'm doing the switch screens and holy cow, I'm kind of impressed that I kept talking for that long. I'm used to usually I'm like kind of impressed, and we can kind of dive into some more advanced things while we're here. But if you have questions, I'm just gonna open up that Discord. And again, thank you all for joining on that. It's super awesome. And another tangent, I got this question earlier on. I actually didn't use a graphic designer for my slides. I did use one years ago, and I have continued. So I did use one. I lied about that. Her name is Leah Chu, but then this is actually a half deck that I modified, and I just dropped her chat in, or her URL in the chat, and she does a lot of personal branding for creators, and she just does a lot of speaker stuff, and she's a good friend of mine. If you need an intro and you're wanting to do that, great person, would recommend 5,000%. But pitch.com makes your presentation look really good, as well as the other one I use is DeckSet.
Oh, yes. I'm a big DeckSet user, honestly.
Yeah. It's a hacky solution that I've come up with of I am not a graphic designer and people are. And so I just had her do the basic elements, and then Pitch and DeckSet do the rest of me looking good.
Yeah. I think DeckSet to me, well, not only makes it look good, you can't pick as many options, but I just sit there and I'm I can whip up a presentation and since it's all markdown, it's boom, done, presentation done. It looks good enough. Okay, so let's dive into this question.
And I'll keep this Discord server open, so if anybody has anything, and you can DM me on Discord, so just feel free to hit me up and ask what's up. But tips on running events in Discord. So just creating a quick little thread. My biggest one is kind of like any event, is Discord is a community platform first. So it is a community platform first. Remember that. First, and remember that, because people want to engage and socialize. So allow them to respond, to chat, to reply to messages, engage them in the process. So I used to run a weekly office hours for the last company I was at. And we basically would do an office hours every Wednesday. And if you're doing a repeating event, make sure it is the same time and the same place and the same cadence. And you sit there for the full hour if one person shows up. And if only one person shows up, you make sure that they are having the best time of their life. And I know we've all been there, and we've had to go to our boss and say only one person showed up. I know that many of us have been in that situation, and it's kind of awkward. But the thing is if you really did your job, next week there'll be 2. Or tell them to invite a friend, or extend a personal invite. If you have someone, another trick that I've done, if I'm managing a technical community, one of the things I've done is I've actually gone to the support questions and been like, hey, notice you were struggling with this. You want to chat about it in office hours? And answer the question in Discord using the audio channel. It becomes really informal. You can many times go off and just open up a window and go off camera for the the actual privacy stuff, if that's not your jam. But you can walk through a lot of things because it has code on all of that. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I've used the events myself, like, and I haven't, but it's always been for these events, which are external link events. I haven't actually. It's one of the things, like I think that maybe limits. If you do it more in Discord, you'll get more interactivity in Discord as opposed to like when you shove it out to another site like this. It probably loses.
Yeah. I love that. I stream a lot of dev on Twitch. It was rough in the beginning being there all alone. I've got 15 plus every stream. It's awesome. Love that, Eric. Yeah, drop your stream in there. So I would love to absolutely kind of hear that. Because that was my 2022 goal, was actually to get on Twitch. And I'm noticing that just showing up and being consistent, even on a platform, I've been doing it in Discord, but hadn't done it on Twitch. And it's the same muscles, just different. Be human. I think also this is file under adjacent pet peeves in this industry. Really kind of tired of the overly scripted formal events. So I try to keep them fun and interactive. Because I think we're all tired of it. If we have to be on Zoom for 2 hours, then gotta make it fun.
Yep, totally. Okay, let's see. I think we had some more questions.
Yeah, so
there was a question about, maybe you answered this. If you can message people without adding a friend request, what's the benefit of the friend request?
That's a safety and permission setting. So you can customize that. So some people will only accept direct messages from friends. And that's a total independent call. So, and we see this a lot. I have done some consulting for the adult industry and adult entertainment industry. And for safety reasons and doxing reasons, they use Discord a lot, because you'll notice that they don't have aliases, and you can create a Discord profile without connecting your phone number or email, or you can have an alternate email. And so that's why a lot of our friends in crypto or adult industries actually have been doing that. And so that is a big one. And it actually keeps people a little bit safer from doxing, which is really interesting. So it's a big safety thing. Again, Slack does not have that.
No, it doesn't. Like I think I mentioned to you, I've had problems with the big community I run, because with Slack, you have very little insight into like what's going on in private channels or DMs as an admin. At least maybe there's a paid version that reaches a level that I can get that. But and so the one that I run is pretty big, and we have sometimes the only time we hear about private channel is, oh, hey, these people got into it, like somebody said something really inappropriate, and then we have to step in, and we have, and
this is not fun.
That's not fun. And I just feel like, at least based on my own experiences, Slack isn't designed for that kind of thing as easily as Discord really does give you a lot of tools for that.
And there is only more tools being developed, because they have been, and this is like where we've seen kind of the Discord really excel in those technical communities, is Discord has been so open about their docs. There is a Discord for devs server, which is really friendly, and they're super helpful and open towards answering questions. And they stream regularly in their own server. So they'll be like, let's build a Discord bot together in their Discord server. And I've learned a lot about their API from just being in there, and that's been super helpful. And I know we didn't get to it today, but we can even dive into what the new forums feature looks like. So I do have that turned on in a server I manage if we want to peek.
Sure. Yeah, we've got a few minutes.
So unless anybody else has any other questions, but this is No Code Ops, which is actually another community. I'm a consultant for them, so full disclosure that I'm there. But this is what the new forum looks like. So we've been testing it out, and you'll see this is a lot of different channels turned on and off, and just remember, be patient because this is new. So I help out. Their primary community manager, Claudia, has set up a lot of this. And the one downside I want to offer is for developers, especially if you've been doing this like developer thing for a while, this isn't publicly searchable. So you lose the SEO benefit of a forum. The other downside is I still think this is a little clunky. I'm not like a huge fan of how this runs. It's kind of treated like a thread, and the API treats it like another flavor of thread. So if you're building something on it, it's treated as another flavor of thread, but it has the reactions. You can follow it if you want to see notifications, but again, you lose that SEO, perks. So, but this is what it looks like. You can even kind of see what does it look like for the post guidelines. Again, Discord's a little wonky with their features. And so they will, unless you have to be super active, and kind of the secret pro tip is join their Discord and then be active in it, and they will kind of magically turn them on a little bit more. So, but I haven't decided. I'm kind of neutral on the Discord forums for the current Bing, because I don't know. I'm neutral on them. They're cool, but I could see them being really helpful for like a support forum in Discord, so you're not getting the same question asked 1,000 times on something else. But yeah.
But then if you wanted forums, you might, like, especially if you're a public company, you know, like you probably want that searchable on the web, not just like Discord. But yeah, okay, I see your point there.
Yeah. It's hard to link to something. Like if you're doing support, and I've been in the position where it's like you've done support in a forum and you've been like, okay, well, we've already answered this in the forum over here. Again, Discord is a synchronous platform. Synchronous platforms, I do not believe should become support platforms, because then it sets the expectation that your team in that Discord needs to be answering support questions, and no, go get or have an official channel for that. If you're managing a larger Discord as part of a public company, another tip that I've heard is divide and conquer. So be like this team, if you're at a tool company that has both a code and a low code option, what I've done is like put, hey, DevRel, you're taking these code channels and you can play with the API. And then regular support or people who are managing the support for the no code where they don't have a technical background, put them in those, like put them in charge of those channels. So you can still have really in depth. And if you're on a team, it reduces the total number of channels that someone has to pay attention to.
Makes sense. Yeah.